Hi guys, it's about 10 o'clock right now here in New England. Well, a winter weather advisory for central and northern Maine. Just generally and very briefly talking about what's going on. 4 to 6 inches for these guys. I would say on average probably something around 3 to 5 inches. 2 to 4 up to the north, and then 1 to 2 way to the north. So you can see generally most of Maine getting about 2 to 4 inches of snow. So we'll see what happens. But again, this is nothing for them. This is absolutely nothing for them, and it's not unprecedented for them on any means. This is what's going on. You can see a little bit of rain is starting to work its way into our region. Within the next, I would say, hour. Within the next hour, we're going to start seeing some rain yet again come in here. We've been seeing spotty rain showers all day. Behind this, there's a little bit of snow. Why is that going on? Well, because essentially there's a cool front. And that cool front, well, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to know that up in here it's cool enough to support snow because of the cold air coming down from Canada. So, things are kind of cooling down. The cool front is practically right near us. Won't be as warm tomorrow as it was today. Today we were in the mid-50s. Tomorrow upper 40s to around 50 degrees. So about, I would say 5 to, we'll say somewhere between 6 to 8 degrees cooler than today. 5 to 8, somewhere around that region. Because it won't be 10 degrees cooler tomorrow. That would bring us down into the mid-40s. So for right now, that's what's going on short term. Longer term, things could potentially get a little interesting. Overall, this is what I'm thinking. There's 2 models right now that are saying no snow. 2 models right now that are saying yes, we're going to get some snow this Friday night into Saturday. Now, for right now, I want to kind of focus our attention on the ones that are saying that we will get a snowstorm. Why? Because the ones that are saying we aren't going to get snow have been very inconsistent. Not with just their short-term forecast, but for their long-term forecast. Their long-term forecasts have been flipping and flopping around saying, oh, we're going to get this. And then the next day, it's like, we're not going to get this. Okay? Very, very inconsistent. The European, this whole entire week has been indicating at something for this, for today. And they've also been indicating at something for the 5th, or not the 5th, anywhere between the 6th and the 8th for the past week. So that's an important aspect that I've been noticing this week. The European, very consistent, very consistent. All right, let's talk a little bit about what's going on here. This is the area of low pressure that's going to be potentially giving us some issues. Other than that, nothing much happening. As time moves its way onward, what happens here is we get the low. It'll be essentially moving like this. Okay. We are in a cold pocket of air. Okay. Could this snow last a while? I see it to be warming. Okay, we will have a warm-up during the afternoon hours, which will mean this will change over to rain. It will go from, it sounds like right now, don't quote me at this moment, but it sounds like the way how this is going to go about is it's going to go from snow to rain, back over to some snow. If that's the case, then, well, you'll see what we're going to be talking about. So this is, again, the European model. Here's the center of the low. This means that there would be some precipitation going as far back as here. And then other than that, nothing major happening at this moment in time after this storm other than a warm-up. Now, we'll get to the longer term in just a second, but I want to show you another model. This one is the Canadian model, practically a mirror image of what the European is saying. This is you can kind of see what they're predicting when it comes in terms of the precipitation. Here's the key. Here's the map. It's a little bit better. Okay, so the Canadian and the European right now are practically side by side here, which is what I like, which is what I am looking at in a model. Agreement, model agreement is what you want to look at too. Consistency and agreement is what you really want to look at. So here we go. This is a little storm. We would be starting off as a little bit of a code, and how can I tell? Well, this is essentially that 10. It really means an inch. This 25 is really 2.5 inches, or 0.25. When you get to the 100, that's an inch. I'm sorry. This is a tenth of an inch, a quarter of an inch, a half, 3/4, 1 inch, and then you know the rest. Okay. So this would be generally a codon. When you get lower than a tenth of an inch of rain or water precipitation, that's a codon of snow. Generally, a tenth of an inch of water equals 1 inch of snow. That's usually how it goes about. So this is indicating about a codon of snow to start things off, which is usually how storms start off anyway. This indicates maybe a good 3 to 5 inches of snow, and this would be for Saturday morning. Okay, and then this would be the period when we would see the rain. Okay, we would probably get something around a tenth to a quarter of an inch of rain. Then towards the nighttime hours, we would flip back over to some snow, and this would probably give us an additional 1 to 3, maybe as much as 4 inches of snow if things can go together well. So what does that generally mean? Well, all you have to do is some math here. 3 plus 1 is 4, and then again 3 plus 5 is 8. So essentially 4 to 8 is what the Canadian is predicting, and that's generally what the European is predicting as well. So that's what's going on when it comes in terms of this upcoming storm. But remember, there will be some melting going on during the day since there will be some rain. Okay, but if cold air can really stay, if cold air can stick around for the whole entire event, we could be talking about a little bit more. But right now, that doesn't seem to be very likely. Moving on through the longer term, going on into next week, we're going to be talking about a warm-up. Okay, this indicates winds coming out of the south now. If you want to know the exact measurement of the wind, I don't know that. All you really need to know is that winds will be coming in from the south, which indicates a warm-up. So this cold air will be moving back up into Canada, and the warmer air will be coming in. But it's not going to be this type of warmth, which is practically summer warmth. We'll get into spring-like warmth. We'll be talking maybe as high as 60 degrees. At the absolute highest, 63 degrees would be really the barrier of where we get the warmest. This indicates that here. This indicates that 60-degree readings here. And then after that, there's going to be a cool down that starts coming in. There's a cold front that's going to come through. So yet again, more Canadian cold. Okay, so essentially the warm weather lasts from Sunday through, I would say, Tuesday. On Wednesday, we get the front come through, we get some rain, and then behind it, we're back to cooler weather, 40s and 50s yet again. And then after that, we start talking about some really interesting stuff that happens towards the end of this period. This is around the 6th where we see a massive, massive cool down. Probably some really cold weather. Just put it, we're just going to leave it at that. Cold weather. What happens is this cold air kind of retreats, and then we kind of the cold air kind of retreats, but then we get a storm system that comes out of Canada. Okay, what essentially the storm system will do is it will come out of Canada and essentially work its way southward. It will pack itself off the coast of southern Maine and southern New Hampshire, and when that happens, it still brings in a fairly decent amount of snow. With that being said, this is around the 7th. Okay, I would say somewhere between Good Friday and the 7th. Might start sometime Good Friday and last through the 7th. But generally between the 6th and the 8th right now is a good period where we could potentially be talking about a snowstorm. The European all week this week has been indicating between the 6th and the 8th as a time period for a snowstorm. Remember yesterday how I said the GFS was indicating something for the beginning of the 9th? Well, guess what? Today they're not predicting that. They've been doing that every single day this week. Oh, we're going to get something, and then all of a sudden, no, we're not. It's not going to happen. So the European is very consistent on their predictions, which is really leading me to a European type prediction, which would indicate to me that we'll have a warm-up, which I think you can pretty much say that most of our local meteorologists are saying that. There's going to be a little bit of, so it'll start out where we get a storm this weekend, a little bit of snow, a warm-up, a cool-down, and then maybe another snowstorm. So we'll have to see how that goes. And then it looks like maybe after that, yet again, another warm-up, and then what happens after that, I'm just not sure. There's just so many potentials at this moment in time. I'm not going to try and predict extremely long-term at this point, just for the fact that there's just so many potentials at this moment in time. So right now, the time period around Good Friday seems to be favorable for a snowstorm. So we'll have to see what happens with that as time moves onward. But that's what's going on. Other than that, nothing much. I hope you all have a great rest of your evening, and I will be back here tomorrow with another update. Have a great evening.